We also had ambitions of putting. We're gonna try to get Krampus up and put him in the room already.
Nice.
So
Nice. It came up
it.
on my Snapchat memory that you guys took him out and you put them together last year.
Yeah, like
today. Yeah.
Today?
Yeah.
Where is that? Oh, that's behind the
No,
couch.
it's in the living room.
It was when you guys like barely got him out. Like you guys haven't even settled him in yet.
Did we leave him in the front room?
Yes.
Yeah,
Lisa, I'm so sorry.
Her attitude, yes.
I figured that's why you were bringing... Oh.
No, that's fine. I just would have.
Look at it.
Notice I didn't say sorry.
No,
You're such a not nice person.
The one that would get me the most was Michael Myers in the
In the
window at
window.
the door. Every time I came in.
That one actually got me the other day from the couch. I was like, what the? Oh.
Every day he gets me. I kind of want sometimes Sam freaks me out when he's like turning towards the window and I'm like, I'm following the rules, Sam. I'm following the rules.
I promise.
And then he turns back around.
Ooh. See? Superstition or not?
We hear topics from politics, social media, academia, friends and family. You wonder about yours and their mentality. Our thoughts and actions aren't in conjunction and realize there may be an obstruction. The sky appears a different shade of blue when we realize we may be in the shadow of an eclipsed view.
Oh, jeez.
Ow. Just kidding.
Sit on my hand.
All right, welcome to Eclipsed Views, where we see what it would take to change your views. This is for self-help through Kaizen, a Japanese form of improvement in small increments. Disclaimer, some hard and difficult topics. If you are easily offended, this may not be for you. There's sometimes some hard truths, and if you're not ready for it, I suggest maybe you revisit at a later time when you feel more prepared. I am Salvador Melendez.
I'm Veronica Melendez.
And our guest today,
I'm Rogelio Hernandez.
And Lisa Hernandez.
the neighbors, again, for the third time now.
I know. You're our most popular.
I know.
Whoop, whoop.
Thank you.
All right. Got into this through street epistemology, mode of Socratic questioning. How did you come to that stance? Are those reasons legitimate enough to continue to hold that stance, or is it conjecture? How do you know when you have enough evidence to form an opinion? And our topic today are superstitions and urban legends.
Ooh.
I knew you were going to do it.
Is that why you looked at me?
Yes.
Cute.
Cue the eerie music.
From Fright Day. What's her
Yeah,
name?
yeah. Oh, she's amazing. We have there's this other podcast called Fright Day, and they're like a ghost, and she's like, ooh! She makes all, and they're like, stop it! She's awesome. They're awesome.
Podcast, yeah.
Oh, I
All
hear
right.
my child yelling.
The definition for superstition, it had various actually, but they all kind of sounded the same, but they're a little bit different. So I wrote down all of them. First one is a belief or practice resulting from ignorance, fear of the unknown, trust in magic or chance, or a false conception of causation. Which I didn't want to be the one to bluntly say resulting from ignorance, but I was glad it was there in the dictionary.
Yeah.
The other one is an irrational, abject attitude of mind toward the supernatural, nature, or God resulting from superstition, which is kind of the same. And then another one was a notion maintained despite evidence to the contrary. And the definition for urban legend had an often lurid story or anecdote that is based on hearsay, but widely circulated as true. So I thought that was fascinating.
We have a
I guess.
disclaimer on this about children listening to this podcast, right? Like it has to be like 12 and over, 13, 15, 18 and over.
Yeah, or they can learn.
Oh,
Just kidding.
I don't want to be that person.
Rip it off like a Band-Aid. Just do it.
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know, actually. I don't know what the podcast thing is for. Is that the
Yikes.
child?
Yeah.
speaking of,
Yeah, there's a reason why we're doing this podcast during the day.
yeah, so slight side story. We were going to try to record this last week, but the child's having an issue with sleeping
Regression
at night.
because of superstitions. Yes, I don't know what the hell.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna do we'll do our scenario, which Vero decided to try to
Oh,
provide today.
okay.
Nice.
So you're faced with a challenging situation, something that's very personal to you, like you're having an issue with your dogs or your family member, like something very serious, very pressing, but it's out of your control, truly. How likely are you to believe in a superstition? Like if you touch something or you do something, things are going to resolve for you, that being the superstition. The reason I bring this up is, so 0 would be you wouldn't go to a superstition at all, and 10 would be you would, that is totally like what you're going to do is go down that path and like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to touch this or eat this or whatever to make this situation completely change.
Totally.
Right. So for me personally, I fell into this that day that we were going to do this podcast, right? Because he was acting up and there was nothing that I could do to get him to go to sleep.
Right.
Like to go to his room, anything. It was inconsolable. There was nothing. And so I was like, what if I don't know, I was trying to make something up to create my very own superstition in order to make the situation different, right? Because prayer didn't work. Like prayer does typically work for me. So I was like, maybe if I wash my hands and touch this towel, this is gonna work, instead of washing my hands and touching the other towel.
Yeah.
Like every time I touch this towel, he goes to bed and it's been fine. So I'm gonna wash my hands, when washing your hands has nothing to do with the actual situation.
Right.
Right? So what about you guys on a scale from 0 to 10? How likely are you to fall into some kind of superstitious thought process or
When you're faced with something
extremely
challenging?
difficult? Yeah. So like, I don't know, Max is going to have another surgery.
Yeah.
If he doesn't poop within 3 days. You know, something like that. Something totally out of your hands. Like you can't go in there and like,
Massage it out.
yeah. You can't.
Push him from
Go.
angles.
Feeding him prunes. You know, there's something out of
Wait.
your hands.
You have to wait till the next full moon. And then,
I'm interested to what you have to say because I have an answer, but I want to see what you have to say.
In situations like that, I don't fall back to to practices. What I do is like maybe to soothe myself, right? Like my brain's already going into therapy brain, and honestly, like as I'm listening to you, I'm like, oh well, that's a coping skill. Like I'm not going the superstitious route, so I don't think I'd go.
And so you're at a 0.
Yeah.
But so like even for comfort, your brain doesn't do that because mine does, and I want to say it's weird because I know it's not gonna work, but my brain automatically like goes like if I see something happening, like my brain will automatically go like, oh maybe if I don't know. So kind of basically what you
do something
explained.
ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. That has nothing to do with it.
I'm not going to use that
when it
soap. I'm
happened.
going to use the other soap.
Or for some reason, for whatever reason, I looked at the clock and it's 11:11 or whatever,
Yeah.
right? My brain does that, and I can't control it.
Not
Not that I believe it, but it
not
does it.
for me. Not when I'm in a stressful situation. So like, let's say like, if like, oh, I'm gonna knock on wood so it doesn't happen. But if I'm already in it, my brain automatically goes into problem solving. Like it doesn't like, I need to do this so this doesn't happen.
So like, let's say you see the challenging thing coming, but you're not in it yet. Do you resort to knocking on wood?
No, I resort
to
to preparing for the situation.
Even though you've knocked on wood in front of us?
I've knocked on wood, like, oh, like, it does, like when we're talking about it, like,
You're
oh,
like,
like, hopefully he doesn't need surgery, then I'll knock on wood. But if I'm already in it, or if I see that he eats something that, like, I'm like, oh, he might need surgery, then I'm not
You're problem
knocking on
solving.
wood. I'm problem solving.
Mhm.
Well,
That's me.
yeah. I mean, I problem solve too, but I'm saying like in the moment, right before I hop into problem solving, my brain will hop into
a coping
coping
mechanism, and then you're like, well, that's not gonna fucking work anyway.
Exactly. It's weird.
Might as well do whatever.
It's weird. I can't control it, and I've noticed it.
It's the way you were raised.
It's
More than
totally,
likely,
it's absolutely ingrained.
For sure.
It's ingrained because we don't believe in that stuff anymore. But how long did it take for us to remove the belief system?
Oh, it's still there a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, like that's why your brain automatically goes into it.
It's I can't control it. I've tried and it just goes. It's weird.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like with
How
yours, how you
unfortunate.
said knock on wood beforehand, like if you hadn't, would you have any association like, oh damn it, I should have found
Oh
like,
no,
okay.
because then
You play.
my brain is going very therapeutic, guys. I'm trying to like refrain.
You can be,
Yeah,
you can
okay,
do.
well,
I'm gonna take off my shoes and my smell because I'm wearing Hocus Pocus socks, and they're nylon.
They don't
They don't absorb.
Oh, they don't absorb the sweat.
Yeah.
So like because my brain is going therapeutically, right? Because there is a behavioral health disorder that like if you don't do something, bad things will happen. Right? It's OCD.
Mm-hmm.
It's the obsessive compulsive, like compulsion, right? Like, so you have to, I mean, I'm generalizing, okay, guys? I'm not going to go through the diagnostic criteria with you at this point in time, but like, if I don't knock on wood, my friend is going to die, right? Like, there is that compulsion and obsession, right? Like, it can
And
be-
people actually like really, really, truly
Yes.
believe it.
Yes.
And what happens if they don't knock on wood and the person doesn't die?
They ignore it.
That's where like the therapeutic process like comes into play, where you
Right,
kinda,
'cause
like,
you would challenge it.
Right, but for them, they would have gone back. That's why it's such a disorder. Like if like
They would not have knocked on.
Right.
Yeah. They would.
They can't challenge themselves. They
They-
can't. It's really, really hard
at
for
that
them.
point, it's really really hard.
Ooh.
And so
Aw.
like through therapy and through exposure and through like cognitive behavioral therapy and like exposure therapy, we eventually want to get them to that point to be able to challenge it. But while you're in it, they don't realize it. Like they don't have. I can't speak for everybody, right? But like it's just not that cognition. So like when you're talking about, when you ask me that, like it's like that's where my brain went.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is, like, if you think about it, for them, it is, like, for us who don't have OCD, it is a superstition. But
For them, it's truth.
true.
Oi, that's
Yeah.
hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing we've kind of talked about, like when, like if you, I guess that's one of the times that I realized how objective or subjective truth can be. Like I used to think it was very, and to an extent,
Didn't we
there
do that
is.
podcast?
Yeah, something like
talk
that.
about it.
But how, with that, like somebody's having a hallucination, like to them it's real. Like
Right.
so, how do you differentiate from their reality versus your reality, where you are not seeing what they're seeing, but to them, even in their brain, it is happening. So it's like,
That's where you need a therapist.
Yes. And you actually, just FYI, guys, like, you should not be like, no, that's not real.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of, like, give in to them a little bit. And, like, ask them more. Just FYI for future reference.
Oh, that's really good. Then I'd be like, no, you're stupid. You're not seeing shit.
Right. No, like, you should not do that.
No,
Don't do
no,
that.
no, I'm just kidding. I actually have not done
Noted.
that. I have not done that. When I did have some patients that were having hallucinations, I definitely did sort of go with it.
Yeah.
But it's scary
It is scary.
because some of their hallucinations are scary, and I'm just like, oh
Mm-hmm.
shit, is it really there? Like, should I
You're
believe
like
you, or are you? We're gonna
looking
go ahead and
around.
leave your room now. And yes, we'll leave the little girl a blanket. Run, 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 run. Because that shit's scary.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So what was our numbers?
I want to say
0.
probably like an 8 for me.
Interesting. That's really high for you.
Yeah, it is. And I'm telling you, like I've tried, and I've noticed
I'm
it.
like,
Her face, she's like, why haven't you told me that
That's
you have
why-
this problem?
That's why I find it interesting because we've never had this conversation.
ever.
Oh.
But
Cool.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I've noticed it and I've tried to stop it, but my brain just goes there. I need to let it go through the process so that I can move on from it. Because then it's like automatic.
Are you a little OCD? No, I'm just kidding.
Possibly.
No. I don't know. Never mind. Sorry.
I'm pretty up there too. Yeah, I'm probably about a 7.
7.
7?
But,
Are
yeah.
we still talking out of 100?
No,
Oh.
out of 10.
Okay.
Well, so that would be 70 for me.
Yeah, 8
Okay.
if it's out of.
Dang, that is very high.
Yeah.
That's very high.
It feels like that, man. It feels,
Because,
maybe
like-
it's not as bad, but it
No,
feels
but
like
if it feels like
Yeah.
that for you, that's what your truth is.
Well, because it happens, and then you're like, okay, dumb.
Yeah.
And then you're able to, like, withdraw from it.
Yes.
But it's an instant be able to, but it hits it, and you think about it, and then it's, okay, let's
Yeah.
be realistic. Like, the logical brain kicks in right away.
Exactly.
But in the prefrontal cortex, it's like, let's go! And then withdraw.
Yeah, it's not like I stew in it or anything, but it like happens
Right.
like within a couple of seconds, and then
Mine is fast too,
Yeah.
but it definitely does do
It
it.
goes there.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating.
I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And then, yeah. And you?
Mine's probably at a 0, but I really did have to, like, kind of the same. Like, I had to coach myself out of it. I used to think the same things, like oh, I need, like, because I didn't do this, or I did do this. Or,
And then confirmation
things-
bias doesn't help.
No,
Yeah,
it
until
Because
I-
once something is confirmed, you're like, oh shit, is it because I thought about it?
Until I actually had to,
You know,
like,
and then you have to, like,
Yeah.
until I actually-
Yeah.
logicalize it?
Rationalize it.
Oh,
until
damn it. You see why I hate
Sorry.
alcohol?
I know.
Because my brain is just not smart without it. No, I'm just kidding.
Suspicion.
Oh man, you are. I'm going to start giving you some hard things then.
Sorry.
I'm going to do it.
I need alcohol to.
No. This is perfect. Have some more water. I'm going to start drinking and you can give me therapy for free.
Oh,
Just kidding.
No.
Totally kidding. Oh,
This is
that
from,
laugh was obnoxious.
it's from The Office, where he's like, I'm not superstitious, but I am stitious.
That's right.
Superstitious.
Yeah.
And then it actually made me
Not
wonder,
super.
like, what is stitious, and why does it have a super before? And I did look it up.
Dang, that might be a thing, huh?
Yeah, maybe
Maybe.
let's look it up right now.
I'm going to look up stitious.
Yeah, see, that's a word.
Stitches.
But I am stitious. Excuse me.
Grammar.
No,
It's not a
the word you've entered isn't in the dictionary. Thank you. Then why super then? Like
I
makes
know,
me
why
wonder about-
super?
Super is a very
Like-
common prefix. So like
Yes.
why use it in a non-prefix form? or
How do you
whatever?
say superstition in Spanish?
Super.
Estúpido.
Superstición, algo así. ajá.
It also has a
Superstición.
prefix.
Tiene también.
¿Es super?
Es super.
¿Es superstición?
No, it's not like that.
Because no word in Spanish starts with a
think.
s.
Yes,
It's-
they-
Sopa.
Oh,
it is as long as they're not followed by a consonant or whatever.
by a consonant.
Yeah. So we
I
have
got it. Okay. So like scenic. Es scenic.
no, that's still followed by like
Estrella.
yeah, because it's ST.
Yeah.
Like star, or like that's why people say Sprite because it's SP.
Yeah.
Ah.
But if it was S and a vowel, then it wouldn't have an E
I never
before
knew
it.
that.
Oh, you're people.
I didn't make up this language.
Yes, you did. It's your first.
All right.
Just kidding. Sorry. Can we put me in a box today?
All right. Common superstitions. Friday the 13th. Umbrellas inside. Crossing your fingers. Making a wish on a wishbone. Knocking on wood.
Yeah.
666.
Ooh.
Breaking mirrors.
Ah.
Black cats. Bad luck comes in threes. And walking under a ladder. Any thoughts or stories on those?
Well, y'all know how I feel about knocking on wood.
She uses it quite a lot.
I
Actually.
do. I really
But you're not
do.
superstitious.
I am superstitious in terms of that. I don't know. I think
But
it's just like maña. How do you say maña in English?
Like a habit?
Like a habit, yeah. Like I don't believe in it. Like things are gonna happen regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just like a habit. Like knock on wood. Like
But
and
you
then if
won't-
there's no wood, like you knock
Yeah.
on your head. Like it's just
But you wouldn't like think back to it like, oh, it's because I didn't.
I didn't
like,
knock
yeah.
on wood. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she wouldn't do that.
No.
Okay.
I will say, for me, I do like second guess walking under a ladder.
Do you? Why
I
is
do.
that?
though?
Yes, like when I have to
Interesting.
hold, like when you're putting the lights up,
Yeah.
like I'm like,
You just make sure you're not.
I'm like-
there.
no, I do it because I know that
Almost-
it's gonna happen. But it's I think it's kind of like what you guys are talking about, like it's like an automatic thing, and then you like work through it. I think that's what it is for me. Like I'm like, it's just walking under a ladder, like, and I like go.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember the last time I stepped on a crack.
Are you serious? Really?
Do you avoid them?
No, but not consciously. But I feel like it's like
If
in
you
my
saw
brain.
it, like if you're actually paying attention,
Yes,
you wouldn't do
yeah,
it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like
Dang.
He's
These
saving his
indoctrination
mother.
things
I
work.
know.
seriously. Yeah.
Work.
Can I grab
hard,
your
man.
foot?
No, I mean I could do it, but if I like Sal said, if I'm paying attention and I see it, I'll make sure
You avoid it.
Step shorter before you
you skip.
Before you
step,
falling
step
behind.
longer. Too many cracks.
There was a long time where I didn't want to open umbrellas inside.
Inside. That's right. No, that one was. I remember my mom even like getting on my case about it when I was little, for opening
Dang.
it one inside. Yeah. No,
My-
mijo, eso no se abre adentro. Sé qué.
I don't, but I don't. This is something that I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you have it on your list, but my aunt will cover mirrors when it's
Lightning?
lightning.
My mom used to do something similar.
For real? Why?
Because it'll bounce off the mirror.
Yeah.
It'll start bouncing.
So it stops it from bouncing around the house.
The microphone can't take the laugh that was gonna.
All right. We already have some.
Well, we did say ignorance.
We did.
Yeah, literally.
Already have some fun with this next one.
That one made me dizzy.
All right.
Oh my god.
Which? I don't think I lost it.
Which
Which American groups are most likely to be superstitious?
What do you mean?
Roger's face.
Is this just opinion?
Yeah, just say whatever comes to your mind first, and then we'll. It actually has like the. I don't know how accurate this survey is, but it's fun to.
I have-
to go along
I
with
don't
this.
understand the question. I'm sorry.
Which American groups, like I guess
Like Mexican American, African American.
there's several different groups. So there's like people who live in the South, women,
Oh.
Hispanic Americans, independents, Black Americans.
I have an opinion on
So-
this one.
Yeah, I think Hispanic Americans. They have to be one of the highest ones. There's no way they're
You're
not number one.
close
I think.
by association.
Religious?
Oh man,
Pretty
that's-
close by another association.
Catholics.
They're the highest?
That's what it says here.
You know what I find interesting about that though is like how come you have to have so much superstition? Sorry, Roger.
Very funny.
So much superstition if you have a belief system that's that strong. Wouldn't you just pray about it?
But aren't we saying that like prayer in general is a superstition?
Is it?
It kind of follows the rules, right? Like if you don't pray about it, and if it happens, then they might think,
Oh,
I
it's
didn't
because you
pray
didn't
about
pray
it.
about it.
When if they're in a challenging
Yeah,
situation,
I
they're
guess I
going
could
to
see
pray
that.
about it.
No, but then you blame it on God for not doing it.
But isn't that
Or it
Isn't that
wasn't
opposite?
in the plan.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't in the plan.
Yeah.
And so the plan avoids your prayer. It doesn't matter what your
But-
prayer said. It wasn't in the plan.
Yeah. But they go in a circle because it's,
Yeah,
it's either not in the plan or
Or
it's
you didn't
because
pray
you
about
didn't
it?
pray hard enough, or
I had never heard
Yeah, how
about not
does-
praying hard enough.
I have.
I have.
Well, yeah.
Oh.
no, actually, on cognitive dissonance, there was one I was telling you a few weeks ago that there was this a lady who's now kind of coming to terms with the whole Trump thing, like that apparently he was supposed to be the chosen one, I guess,
Oh
for
my God.
to run the country, and she went on some rant, I think, on YouTube or somewhere, saying that like if you're not the president right now, that means like you're not doing your part, like you're not praying hard enough, or you're doing something to piss off God or something like that, and then the guys on cognitive dissonance are like, if you're the chosen one, doesn't that mean the path is laid out for you? Like you don't have to do anything. Like if
Right.
whatever happens, you're gonna be it no matter what you do.
Regardless.
Yeah, and so it's like you can't have it both ways
Both
either.
ways, yeah.
Yikes. So, by association, huh? Catholicism.
Yeah, no, you said Mexicans and then religion, so
Yeah.
so there you go. And which would be the least to be superstitious?
Well, let's go opposite. White atheists.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I don't know.
It actually only says atheist and agnostic. So it does not have
I
a-
was thinking agnostics.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna be that specific. I was gonna say atheist.
But let me see.
Whoops. Losing ratings.
I think you're getting more views out of me for sure. But
But if I look at the list now, Black Americans would be the least from the like racial profiling as the least superstitious, then white,
Mm.
and then Hispanic are the highest.
Because
like,
black people take care of their shit. They get it done. Something happens, they're gonna get that shit done.
yeah.
Either they're gonna hit it or run.
Mm-hmm.
I saw David Blaine. I was watching David Blaine.
Did you guys see him on
And
Hot
he
Ones?
scared him.
No.
Either he scares somebody, the black people, and they'll punch you,
Yeah.
or they run away.
All right. So yeah, I'll have this linked as to the if you guys want to see the full. I'll go down the list as to the different groups they had. So number one was Catholics, then the 30 to 44-year-olds, then family income of 100K or more.
Really?
Which was that was
What?
fascinating to me too.
I'm in shock.
Yeah,
Me
that's,
too.
and,
Well,
and again,
obviously they're doing something right.
and again the
Just kidding.
That's why.
the surveys from YouGov.com. So I don't know if it's actually a government thing, but it's still it was interesting. The next one, people who live in cities, which is interesting also.
Yeah.
People who live in the Northeast.
Okay.
People who are spiritual. See, that would seem like follow up like under the age
Like the-
range or the Catholics. People with a college degree only. Republicans. Hispanic Americans. People who say religion is important. See, I think these would have been up
Up higher.
Up
and then-
higher.
women, Democrats, people who live in the South.
Bible Belt.
Yeah, that's getting lower, which
Mhm.
is weird.
Yeah.
People with a high school degree or less.
Ignorance.
But they're less suspicious.
Yeah, these are getting all like less
Interesting.
and less suspicious. Yeah,
Then
yeah, we're working our way to the least.
Because they don't know that.
so I do have to call out some bias
Uh-huh.
in terms of this, right? Just devil's advocate here.
Do it.
Point it out.
Like if somebody has less than a high school degree, they probably don't have enough money to pay for a computer and internet to take the
Mhm.
survey.
Possibly
Okay.
too, and that I do wonder how they.
How
Take
they
the
administer it
polls.
and who they like,
Yeah, yeah.
how they advertise and stuff like that.
Oh, just hey, explore the methodology.
Yes,
data
yes,
for
do
this
that.
poll. Let's see what it says.
Interesting.
So responders were selected from YouGov's opt-in panel to be representative of all U.S. citizens. Who responded? 1,000 U.S. citizens. How online? So when April this year, in 2022, how the sample was weighted according to gender, race, education, based on a 2018 American Community Survey conducted by the U.S. Census Bureau, as well as news, interest, and 2020 presidential vote or non-vote. Margin of error approximately 3.4%. for overall sample. Interesting. And then so as we keep going down, where did we leave off? People who live in the
high
South,
school.
people with a high
Yeah.
school
High
degree
school,
or less, people who live in rural areas, 18 to 29-year-olds, white Americans, U.S. adult citizens, Protestants, family income of 50 to 100K. Sorry, give me a second.
That's
That's
interesting.
I kind of think you're right.
Yeah.
People who live in the Midwest, family
My
income
face.
under
Yeah.
50K, 45 to 64-year-olds, men,
Because why would they have taken this survey?
Yeah.
independents, people who say religion is not important, people who live in the suburbs, black Americans, people who live in the West, people with no particular region, people who are not spiritual, 65 and older, postgraduate degree, and atheists and agnostics.
I wonder how they got this information out there. Anyway, I think it is interesting. I do think that you're right, though. It might be swayed. It might
Yeah,
be.
that's a bias on the.
Well, I mean,
the way
their
the-
sample isn't
Yeah.
large enough.
I
Yeah.
still think the numbers that they got is like fascinating, right? Like some of it is
There's still
Mhm.
like some sort of pattern from within
sure.
whatever they.
right, like the people who they surveyed.
Yeah.
But it also does tell you, like, so Catholicism is one of the largest religious bodies in
Right.
the United States.
At least towards the polar end, that's probably pretty accurate, right?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Interesting.
Next question.
Still shocked me.
How would you say we make superstitious people feel validated, and I guess not shamed or
Oh, you would
ignorant
be good
or
at that question.
Me.
How do we validate?
Well, it's
them
because
without
to
shame?
validate someone, you don't have to believe them or have their same beliefs.
You just
yeah. and I guess my question would be now: what if it's starting to impede on your life? That's when I feel like no, I'm not going to validate your thing just to.
You mean I can't touch the doorknob 10 times before we leave to
Yeah.
get in the car?
Especially now
It's
that when there's a fire
five or
in the
less.
house.
There's a fire!
Imagine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Did that last one count? I thought I'm going to start over anyways.
Oh, imagine. I know that can happen. Like,
Yeah.
that's like a condition. Like, that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there we go. These questions always make me feel like a big jerk. Always. I always end up coming off, okay, because I'd be like, hey, you know what? Like, okay, I understand that this is how you're feeling. However, you're bothering me because we need to go.
And that's exactly how you validate without letting them impede. Right?
Oh.
Like you're validating their emotions. You know, I understand that that's like something that you feel like you need to do. Right?
But do it in your own
However,
fucking house. Just kidding.
We gotta go.
Like,
We're gonna burn to death if you don't hurry.
Like
And touch
actually-
the damn doorknob.
my mom, when Vero was pregnant.
Oh, all the Hispanic superstitions.
Well, there was just mostly.
the one red moon or
big
something.
deal. It wasn't really a big deal, but it was just kind of caught me off guard that she would like suggested it. It was kind of one of those. Well, like
What's
if it
the
doesn't
paper
hurt
clip or whatever?
Yeah.
What is it
Oh,
called?
the safety pin
A
on the
safety
belly.
pin.
during the eclipse or whatever, there was this.
And I think
there's-
she even came out with one. She's like, here. And I'm like, ew, get that thing away. No.
And it's like if it, and I understand the argument. If it doesn't hurt, then why? It's like no, like it's almost again like the
That's
challenge.
same
Like
thing with prayer.
yeah,
I think
so-
my mom did the same thing with my sister, but
Well, look
My-
what happened.
my yeah,
I'm sorry.
basically.
Didn't work. Just kidding.
Well, what is
Roger's
the
turning
what,
red.
what is the
Santo cielo.
even then? What is the superstition behind that? I didn't even know, but I just didn't even bother. I didn't even
I don't know.
Me either.
like
I have no idea.
like I didn't even want to
Well,
like what's the word?
I think don't quote me on this because I don't know, but I think I have heard that like the metal of the safety pin draws the negative energy to the pin instead of the baby or something
See,
like
it
that.
didn't work.
Veronica.
Interesting.
I'm just kidding. I don't even know your family. I'm just being a devil's advocate again. It's my shirt.
It's your shirt.
I believe my shirt. I'm being superstitious.
Are you looking it up?
Yeah.
I wonder what it means. Is that you said it protracts the?
I had heard that somewhere, but I don't quote me on it because I don't. Again.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Did you find it?
Well, I have to type all of this out. A full phone.
What? Well, how long are you, or what do you?
Red ribbons are safety pins. Examining eclipse warnings. Myths and rituals around eclipse, including red underwear. Parents should wear a safety
Glad I
pin
wore
on their
that.
belly. For babies, when they're newborns, they say that you should put a pair of... Hold on. What in the hell? Oh my gosh. Okay, they say the pregnant women should wear a safety pin on their belly. For babies, when they're newborns, they say that you could put a pair of scissors opened in the form of cross under the bed or under the crib, and it's basically protection. For the safety pin on the belly when a pregnancy is taking place, this is going to prevent for when the baby's born. To be born with a blue eye.
From an eclipse. Blue eye.
Wow.
A
I would've
blue
expected
eye.
a red eye.
Yeah.
That's what they say. It says, quote, that's what they say.
What?
What?
Interesting.
That's like
So
chimerism, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen when I was in oh, they didn't use the safety pin on your when you were in the Is that like what you like that's the reaction I feel like is getting at, so it's like
Yeah.
why is one more ridiculous than the other?
Yeah.
What? Another Mexican superstition is to wear calzones rojos, red underwear, during an eclipse.
Why?
Why?
When pregnant women, and the pregnant women should also carry, it came from the Aztec times when pregnant women would carry a red string around an arrowhead.
So what is-
But it's still a mystery why. But it's something that they did when they were pregnant with their children. It's just to prevent. It's just something that has been in our culture, and it goes from generation to generation. I feel an
No.
accent going to come on.
That's great.
If you're looking to protect yourself, the ill effects of an eclipse, you probably don't need to take a trip to the curandera. Safety pins are pretty easy to use and to come by.
Nah.
Speaking of curandera, I don't know. I think I shared this with you, or maybe I did.
Boy, oh boy.
And speaking of superstitions, I have recently learned that when my parents were divorcing, my mom took me to a curandera to do like a protection
Uh-huh.
spell. what do you call it?
Did it
On
work?
me.
Prayer
Well,
or whatever.
confirmation bias.
It's worked.
We're okay.
30 years strong, huh?
Yes.
So what? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's nothing.
The safety
They-
pin, yeah.
It's
I'd rather go to the
nothing.
curandera and get it installed by a licensed professional.
$30, please.
Yeah.
And a pair of red underwear, $80.
Ooh.
Maybe they have the special kind, but they're not the same as they would have.
What
in
about red
Target.
underwear with a bunch of safety pins all around it?
Oh.
That's
Get goth.
like ultra
I mean,
protection
emo.
there. Now, is there any? Do you guys like aware of any superstition you may have? Like kind of like you said, the knocking on wood, but that you would maybe not even be totally aware that you have, but you'd be afraid to get rid of it. Like if they told you like you don't have to do that, and you'd be like,
Oh, I had a real life one. Remember when COVID shit was happening? And I would clean all of our groceries with bleach before they came in the house. Like, I was washing everything, right? Like, I was so scared that we were going to get the Rona. And so I would clean it all. And then my sister-in-law, who's a microbiologist, was like, you don't need to do that. And I was like, I don't know. So I did it like 2 more times. And so I was like, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, you're not going to help me? He's like, no. I was like, okay. So I did it a few more times, and I was like, fuck, my hands are bleeding
Oh.
because of the bleach. So I stopped doing it, and we're okay. But it took bleeding hands.
Oh.
Ouch.
Bleach burns suck, guys. Your skin like peels off.
Ah.
It was nasty.
Jesus.
No. I think I
He
did
didn't
it
help
once.
Bleeding heads.
Oh my
What?
gosh, Roger!
What did you?
It was up.
Adios.
Yes. Because she's talking
Bleeding
about bleeding
hands.
heads,
He's like,
and
"Oh,
he's just Jesus.
Stigma.
Your husband.
Oh, my husband, everybody.
Sorry.
Dang.
All right. Would you ever deliberately challenge a superstition? Why not, or how?
Like our own, or
even
somebody
so,
else's?
both.
Well, you said that you did it already, right?
What?
Like, okay, the ladder.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, go under the ladder.
Yeah.
I honestly thought like that would be the safest place from the ladder, no?
Yeah, because if anyone falls, they're gonna fall.
Yeah,
Backwards.
like backwards.
Yeah, not under it.
Yeah.
Like I doubt, and even if it's like starts sliding, like
Yeah.
just kidding.
Fucking run.
Yeah.
Why are you going to try to catch that
Step
shit?
out of the way.
Break your hands. Go under a ladder. That's
Yeah.
probably so people that are on top of it don't drop it on your head.
Probably.
And so it became a superstition. You don't open umbrellas inside of the house because it's not freaking raining inside of the house. Why do you
Right.
need an umbrella in the house?
Right.
It's probably to keep kids from doing stupid shit.
I could follow that.
Mm-hmm. Just a
Or,
scare
like,
tactic. To scare
even,
them.
like, breaking
and
a
that's
mirror,
what I
right?
think it is with Mexican stuff. Is like it's all scare tactics because of the inconvenience of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's for sure. Yeah. Mexicans. do
Where
tend to-
1111 came from, though, I don't quite understand that thing.
Me
I don't
neither.
know.
The gates of heaven are open or something like that, and you can make a wish.
Something like that.
Like somebody had told me that. Another one is like when you're passing a cemetery, you hold your breath so you don't get ghost breath, so the ghosts can't enter inside of you. Do you
I
realize
didn't know that
I
one.
didn't know that
there are some long ass cemeteries?
Your
You
cardio
know,
better
do you
be
know
up
when
there.
you're going on the loop or whatever on the Super Bowl? What is it called?
The
The
Super
Super
Bowl.
one. Spaghetti
The
bowl.
spaghetti bowl. You're on the spaghetti bowl is a freaking thing, and then another one, and then another one, and you're like, you know.
Pass out.
Pass out. You killed 2-3 people.
I know, because I wasn't getting ghost breath.
Have you ever driven by it? Like you actually driving?
No, but I stopped. Oh, yes, I have. But I stopped that superstition before.
I don't even know if I went to experience.
Well,
So the question was, how do we?
Have you
Would
ever
you ever-
challenged?
Would you ever deliberately
challenge?
challenge a superstition? Your own, somebody else's? Why? Why not? How?
You have, like, with your mom,
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to think, but I can't.
pinpoint which
Yeah, and I
ones.
can't.
It's in a
really-
box.
Yeah.
Open it up. It's okay.
I don't know. I just remember you're like, hey, Emma. And then you start, like,
Well,
telling her.
Yeah, she'd be very. She would always say thank you to God for whatever,
oh, that's right.
for anything. And one time I remember we were all hanging out outside, and she said, I think she had just retired, and she was doing good, and she was like, "Ay, sí, gracias a Dios." I was like, "No, Mom, like, why are you saying?" It was you. I was like, "You're the one getting yourself out of what you're doing. Like, give yourself
Just
props."
start telling her. He's
Yeah.
not listening. That would be so awful, huh?
She probably hate me for it. No, but
She's a little lady. You're a big guy. You can take it.
I can run faster too.
There comes a chancla.
Oh,
But yeah, I have challenged my mom, and I mean, it is hard. They're
Yeah.
very stuck on it.
And do you think like when she says it, do you think it's like a habit just to say it? Like it doesn't have as much meaning as, or do you think like every time she says it, she's actually
No,
like,
to me it feels like a superstition that if she doesn't thank him, it's not gonna keep happening. Like the good stuff will go away. Yeah,
How sad.
yeah.
that is sad because
Yeah.
you have your willpower, right? Like, in terms of, like, in anything, right? Like, in religious speaking and non-religious speaking, right?
Mhm,
Like,
yeah.
there's, like, you have control over what you decide and what you want to do and your own goals. Like,
Right.
But
beliefs aren't gonna.
I also feel that might be like an education level
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
thing.
For
You know,
sure.
you when you work that hard, you know your worth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when I don't know, it's a different situation. I think.
It sucks too that like
Why?
to think that I guess well, I don't know. They had when I took my confirmation classes.
Oh.
Yeah, they had said something.
It's okay, man.
Flashbacks.
It's okay.
Yeah. They had told us like the technique on how to pray and like how to hold your hands together. Like you can't cross your fingers or you can't do it. And I was like, seriously, like was this tested? Kind of like you knew like by doing this, like this one works better than the other, or like it's like, oh, I'm not gonna pay attention to you because you're doing it wrong, kind of deal. Like this doesn't like.
Also,
you get
Bruce
better
Almighty
signal.
isn't true.
Yeah, what if somebody doesn't have all fingers or?
Oh, yeah.
See that again?
Bruce
Was because they
Almighty
didn't
isn't
pray.
true.
Did he do it crossed fingers or what?
Well, it's because they just sit there and then he gets a ton of post-its. Remember, like
Oh,
all
that's
over
right.
the place.
Yeah, Humil.
Yeah.
Just
So
for
those
their
are the
thoughts.
ones that did it right.
Yeah.
They
They did like this.
Yeah.
Because your prayers go straight up.
Ah.
What if you cross? Somebody
They go
else is
down.
gonna hear that.
The prayers are going that way.
No,
That
they go
explains a
down.
lot.
Or I go to the,
I mean, you can pray like this if you want.
No, because then that would mean for women.
And so
And
see,
he
I
doesn't
guess
listen to us.
that would be an example for me to like at that time to like deliberately challenge a superstition or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Like what? I don't know. It seems so
Yeah.
arbitrary.
Imagine
And I put
people.
my feet together. Like, what if I had no arms? Like, I can't pray. Like, God's not gonna say.
They're gonna listen to you.
Well, you obviously didn't pray before.
You lost your hand.
That's how come you
why
lost your hands.
What if you were born without hands?
Your parents
That
fucked up.
happens.
She didn't wear the thingy on the belly.
Uh-huh.
She didn't pray hard enough.
Interdependence.
Mm-hmm.
So challenging it.
Yeah.
I always challenge it. I try to challenge it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger, on the way home, I want you to step on every crack you see.
I want you to not knock on wood for the next 2 weeks.
For the next 2 weeks.
I
I'm
will
not
use
actually
the
making
dirty.
home today.
I will use the dirty towel instead of the clean one. Just kidding.
Ooh. Stinky.
You don't have any superstitions?
Me? I don't.
There's not a certain pattern that you follow because you think that it's
No,
a good
like-
pattern. Not because, oh, it works for me so well, but there's some kind of other, like,
Yeah.
other rationale in it. I think
No,
my
I
eyeball
don't.
twitch.
No, I don't think so. I think the one that got me testing was I used to, when I was younger, like in college or high school, whenever I like have arguments with my mom, I then that's when like the car would start breaking down, and I would associate like that's what it was, and then I purposely started doing it like either not necessarily picking a fight, but I was gonna see how long I was actually like keeping track of like how long is this gonna take before like something happens to the car or like something else or whatever, and then I started realizing there's no correlation here. Like I made this all up in my head, and so
Yeah. That's cool.
and it starts stretching it to other things. I guess I don't really remember anything else. I feel like
Wretched.
Causation and.
Yeah. Correlation.
Well, it's like, but it's traumatic.
Yeah. it
So
is.
anything that's that traumatic is what makes your brain go into like survival mode.
Mhm.
And it tries to make up anything to make itself feel okay.
Mhm.
It's reaching for anything.
Mhm. That's why sometimes the religion is so good for people.
See,
Yeah.
and that's what I was gonna ask. Should we be challenging, like
all like
all
religious
superstitions and all
purposes, I guess.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Me either.
I've come to those
Ch-
conclusions too,
wait,
but I
wait. What was the question?
guess.
Like,
That is,
Should we challenge
stay
all
with it.
religious? No,
All
I'm with
religion.
it, but I was on something else, and then we went to religion again, and I got confused.
sorry.
No.
No, I was asking, should we challenge all superstitions or religious beliefs because of that it comforts so
It does have like a benefit to some people, and it's not like some people that like. To me, I
Well,
guess
no,
from
I
my
understand that it like brings comfort or whatever, but it's also false.
yeah, but I think it's there's also I think from what I've come across is like there's some people that just function better as like human beings, like in a society, like with those rules and superstitions. Like if you told them the truth, it'd probably be like just flip the person, and like now like you're not complying with anything of like.
Well, that's exactly like what happened to me personally.
No, that's what you would always say.
But no, because when I started straying away from religion, I was hyper dependent on superstition. And so I had to challenge my superstitions in order to relieve myself of all of those ties. But my brain still goes back to that because that's what it knows.
Would you also say stuff like, if I didn't have religion, then like I'd be more likely to like kill a person or something like that? And I was like, no, you wouldn't. Like, there's still laws, and you'd still go to jail. There's still other consequences that we have to deal with here that aren't necessarily like godly consequences that.
I was in a really bad place though.
Perhaps.
You're not supposed to bring that up on this podcast either. Now you must pay.
No.
Just kidding.
The lights turn off.
No.
I'm out of here. The door's locked.
I've seen how beneficial like having some type of
Religion
can
or
be.
spirituality or some kind
Something.
of.
Yeah.
See, but then there's always the two extremes where it could be really good to some people, then some people it makes them really, really horrible.
Right, but that's like with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Life isn't black and white, and a lot of people do want to live in the black and white, and they don't realize it. And those are the types of things that I do like to challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess like that goes with a lot of stuff. Like, you guys heard like the phrase, the word of the law versus the spirit of the law?
I actually haven't.
No?
Me neither.
Pretty much, word of the law is like more black and white. Like, why did they make up this rule or whatever? Like don't go, like, let's say even a speed limit. Like, the speed limit 60, does that mean like you have to stay under 60? Like, is it like you go 61, now you get a ticket or whatever? Like, you're breaking the law. So that would be the word of the law versus spirit of the law is like
around 60.
Yeah, or like the law was there placing 60 as a
guide.
Yeah, kind of a guide, because like anything faster than that like could be like a terrible accident, or even like so something along those lines. And so I'm always pretty much towards spirit of the law. Like, what was the intention behind this? But I think a lot of people think it's easier to just tell them black or white, like, don't do this, don't do that, or because not everyone can get the gray area. It's like,
well,
all
it's
right,
like motive though, but that's like motive in crime. So did you kill this person? Well, yes. They were going to attack me.
Right.
And well, you shouldn't have killed them. It's black or white there. Like, are they in the wrong because they killed the person because they were going to attack them?
No, but then again, that
you have
goes
to listen to like it's like the
self-defense
motive
type
of it.
deal.
But even that then technically is in black and white.
Yeah.
But it's the word of the law. Right? The word
Yeah.
says don't kill.
Yeah. So I guess if you were being punished for killing, even if it was in self-defense, that would be the word
instead of the
law.
spirit.
Yeah.
I think I like the spirit.
Yeah. I think that's what I think most people would like to, but the ones that can't kind of figure out that gray area, I think that's why we like even at work in school, like, I think whenever we come up with new rules, it's like it's not because like you can't do it one way, it's because like some people like can't really differentiate. Like, sorry,
and there are some people that cannot like literally cannot be in the gray area. Like, they have to follow it word for word. Like, I don't know if we're going off superstition here too much, right? But like, I had a coworker that literally like it had to be by the book, and if it didn't, she would let you know. And like, I would like, she would have conflicts with me, and I would tell her like, you cannot go base like this, like word for word with everybody. Like, there are going to be some circumstances that don't fit that, and you have to adjust to that. And then we would have arguments.
Yeah.
I'm glad she's gone.
Yeah, and there's like people like that in the workplace. Like, it says to do this. It's like, I understand, but I'm not going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can call me out on it all you want, but I'm not going to do it.
And here,
Really?
but like, you also have like a rationale behind it too. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like you're just doing it willy nilly.
Willy-nilly.
You? Anything like that?
What's the question? Just kidding.
No, I guess
we went down
just,
like a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
with that
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That one wasn't a written question, but it was just like, do you have any like
Oh, like if you could
word
purposely
of the law or
challenge.
I like challenging people. I don't get the opportunity to do so much, but
Yes, I
do
guess like
it.
the safety pin one for us was for sure a challenge. Like,
Oh no, but it was definitely like, and she's like, "Well, you should just do it," and I was like, "If something happens, I'll take responsibility for it."
yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like, but also, what if something had been off with Xavier? Like, would she have related it back to that?
I kind of don't think so.
I wouldn't
Potentially, maybe, but I don't. And then that's where I would get like super defensive. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, you don't have to ever be in this child's life, so.
I guess that's the harder thing too. Is like, how do you challenge it effectively? Because also like challenging it just probably makes both sides more.
Probably through Socratic questioning.
Mm-hmm.
Making
More,
the person answer the questions for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it's absolutely stumping too. Like, you can't know what's in another person's brain unless you ask.
Right. And that actually reminds me, like in terms of challenging, it just popped into my head. Like I was watching a TikTok, and then like there's like this whole thing about gentle parenting, and I'm not gonna get into that specifically, right? But like this parent does do gentle parenting, and she's talking to her Hispanic mom. I don't know what Hispanic root she has, but like the mom is telling her like, no, well, it's because you have to spank them, or like you have to like be like no. And then she utilizes Socratic questioning. She's like, well, when your parents would spank you, like how would that make you feel? And then she's like, well, it made me afraid of my parents. Like it like she answered the questions, and I just love the way like she just redirects and puts the question back on her. And that's kind of like how you can challenge in some situations, I think. Not in all.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's
I think
kinda
that
like
it
what you're
might
getting
work in quite a few situations, though, because it's truly trying to get understanding without stepping on that person's feet or challenging. Challenging, even though Socratic questioning can be very challenging sometimes.
Right.
Like, I think it depends on intonation and stuff too.
That's what I was gonna say.
Because when Sal asks questions, I like sometimes I'll listen to like how he's asking questions to other people, and I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm intimidated, and this guy's a teddy bear with me, you know. But like when I'm like, oh fuck, do you hear that? And I'm like, I'm gonna run away, right? Like, the way his intonation is he has a big, strong, and it's scary, right? It's intimidating. I don't
So let me tell you what
so it's intimidating.
Yeah.
Well, it's intimidating for me, for them. I'm like, oh my god, why? Stop it.
what Maggie had shown us or texted
Oh
us.
god. Live, love. Yeah.
But I thought of putting evil laugh. Live,
Nice.
evil laugh, love.
Left. It definitely has like to do with intonation too. Like you're not gonna ask them like all sarcastically about it.
Right. Yeah, I do. It can be a challenge, but I think that by fighting fire with fire, you're probably not gonna get as far as you would like to.
Right.
Even with like superstition, challenging somebody else's superstition because it affects you. Right? Like going back to all of this stuff, because this person is touching the doorknob 10 times before you leave and the house is burning down. You've got to go. Like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? The house is already burning down. Let's go. Kind of thing. It's hard. I think it really just depends on situations too, because there are going to be some things that you see, and with your friends it's probably easier to be like, I challenge you, like how we just like, I challenge you to not step on a crack, and I challenge you to not to knock on wood, and I challenge myself to not to use a different towel or something. So that's when I'm saying about the towel situation, when Xavier was having his like absolute meltdown shits, I was like, I had to wash my hands, right? And I was like, ooh, and I reached for the towel that I usually don't go to, and I was like, and so I did it out of superstition, and then I was like, what the hell? Like, this is ridiculous, right? Like, this is not gonna fix the problem. Obviously not. Like, it's still happening, right? And so I was like, why did I do that? And then I was like, well, shit.